Hello, this is a review of the Crane Ultrasonic Germ Defense Humidifier. So it comes in a box like this that you see here, and obviously inside the box you get the manual and the humidifier itself. Now the humidifier is obviously white, it has a fairly large reservoir on the back, and a fairly simple interface, but it has everything that you're going to need to do. So let's take a closer look at it. So it has a LED display that we'll take a look at a little bit later when it's actually running. You obviously have 6 buttons here. So the first button is the obvious one, turn on and off, that's your power button. Then you have a timer that determines how long it runs for. So you get increments from 1 to 12 hours, or a so-called continuous mode that will run up to 24 hours. Then you have an ionizer that will freshen the air. And then these two are kind of important here. So this one is going to adjust the amount of steam output from this. So you'll have 3 modes, low, medium, high obviously. We'll take a look at that later. And then the humidistat that will determine when it turns on and off. So you can set it from 40% humidity all the way up to 80% humidity. Now the recommended range is going to be only 40 to 60%. Anything higher than that, you risk damaging things around your rooms and houses with that much humidity in it. And even so, the normal recommended level is only about 40 to 50%. So you're probably going to want to keep this to the lower end for safer conditions inside your home without causing as much mold. And then this is the switch between cool mist and warm mist mode. So basically, once you turn that on, in 15 minutes after the icon acknowledges that it's on, you'll start getting warm mist. In the middle on the top is going to be where the steam comes out. So you get 2 vents here. So you get the vent along the back that's going to go straight up, and then you'll have the vent here that you can rotate. So you can rotate any one of these, and then obviously the directions to do however you see fit. By the way, this just lifts right on out, so you can see right down in there if you really wanted to. Now take note, it does have a handle on the top, but this is not for actually carrying it around. The best you could do is use it initially to lift it off, because it's light when it's empty. However, they warn you, do not use this to carry it when it's full. I mean, if you look at it, it's just a fragile connection of plastic. So if you try carrying this when it's full of water, it's probably just going to crack right off. So they tell you over and over in the manual, carry it with 2 hands when you're going to carry this. Now the unit is surprisingly light. As I mentioned, you know, when it's empty, that is. Obviously it's going to be all water weight after that. But you can see how light that is. But look how light this is, right? That's just tipping it from the back end. It's not tippy per se, but it is definitely not heavy. It's going to be all water weight once it starts going. The power cord isn't that long, but it's nothing that you couldn't always solve with an extension cord. And in my case, the cord won't reach from the table over to the wall outlet that I have over here, but that's nothing that an extension cord can't solve. So to fill it, it's not dump it down here. This is where the steam comes out. So what you do is you flip it over, and it's right here that you unscrew this, and you're going to want to put water in here. Okay, I put some water in. Now let's go ahead and put the cap back on, and use 2 hands and put it back on the machine. Alright, we're all ready to go, so let's turn it on. And it detects the current relative humidity, so I'm already at 44% inside my house. 3 bars means low setting, so it's an additional 3 bars for medium and high regarding this control. So like medium, high. Let's go back to low. We'll see that it's already spewing out. You can kind of see it here. See, there's the steam. Now, it is a cool mist. I can actually feel a little bit of moisture. It's not making my hand wet at all. Kind of soothing, actually, to be honest, on my dry skin. So that's that mode, and I showed you how you can adjust the different settings. Let's see how fast. So look at that already, right? Now, before that, I didn't even see it coming out of this back crevice. Remember how there's the crevice down the back here? We can activate the cool mist mode, and then this icon appears here. But it's still going to take 15 minutes for that to officially start working. We can try some different modes. So I see I've already increased the humidity to 45%. So 1 minute, or 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, up to 12 hours, and then you press it again for C for continuous, and then again that's still going to be up to 24 hours, probably due to tank capacity. So let's go and put it back to 1 hour. Now here's where you can control the relative humidity again. So set to 40, 45, 50. So obviously you can adjust through settings. And then of course you have the ionizer. So it's supposed to make it seem fresher in the air. So now it's cranking at the medium setting. What we want to take a look at is how noisy it is, or lack of noise for that matter, right? It's supposed to be fairly silent, so I'll give you a listen. You probably really can't hear it even on the microphone for this. Basically it sounds like a fish tank. You hear a little bit of dripping. It sounds kind of like a fish tank bubbling away, but not even quite as noisy as the aerator on a fish tank. So it isn't silent. You hear a little bit of a humming of a motor in there, ever so slightly. Just a low humming of a motor. And then you hear a bubbling sound from the water inside. So again, here it's running at low, and I'm going to shine a flashlight so you can kind of see how much steam's coming out. And here's medium, so you can see how much steam. I'm shining the flashlight again. And we're on high now. And when you're done, take careful note that when you remove this, there's some amount of dripping that happens right out of here, because these are just reservoirs below here. So here's the reservoir it drains from your container into, and this is the reservoir that actually does its work out of. So you're going to want to go empty the big top container, and then you're still going to have to make sure you unplug the device, and then you're going to have to go empty this unit as well. Let's take a closer look at the manual. So it's definitely something you're going to give a read through. It's not very long at all, so definitely read through the relevant parts of it. And for water, do not use hot water, it clearly states. So what you really want to use is obviously distilled or filtered water will be best. Any tap water can still be used, but you can risk a white powder appearing around things due to the mineral deposits. So if you start to find white powder around, it probably means you're not using as well filtered or distilled water. And take heed that there is definitely maintenance that you still need to do. Even though it is a germ defense humidifier, it still has to have daily maintenance, weekly maintenance, and then when you want to put it in for end of season storage of what you need to do there. So even though it's germ defense, you still have to do things with it. So number one is, on every single day, you need to make sure that you empty the tank and dry it off, wipe it dry with a clean dry cloth or paper towel. Every week you need to use a water and a vinegar solution where you take, I think, 2 teaspoons or 2 tablespoons of white vinegar and make a solution out of it. Soak it in it for 20 to 30 minutes. You do it for the basin and another part of it, and rinse it off and then dry it. And do not use any solvents or chemicals or soaps. Just the vinegar solution. They tell you that the other solvents will cause a film to go into the parts that will eventually affect the equipment. And they give you a little bit more about what to do with longer term storage. So just keep in mind that even though it said germ defense, it doesn't mean maintenance free. So there's definitely something to do there. And when you do your cleaning or your maintenance, remember that you have to clean both the top container and the reservoirs below. Take note that it says do not place it on a wood surface or near furniture that can be damaged by moisture. So here I am on my wooden kitchen table. So obviously you're really not supposed to use it on a place that can't handle moisture. So maybe the lacquer on the top of this table is going to protect it a little bit, but it's something to be concerned about. And of course they say beware of putting it around other furniture. So I have nice wooden furniture over here that's probably going to be too close to run this. But again, that's if you're just being very cautious and trying to follow all of the instructions. They're just going to say, obviously you can cause damage to things around your home by having too much moisture in there. And remember, for humidity, even though it can support going between 40 to 80% humidity, they even recommend only doing it from 40-60. But after this, right on the next page, they have a whole other section about relative humidity, and in here they suggest only doing it between 40 and 50%. Do not place this on a carpet or towel. So if you're worried about condensing all around on your table, you might be tempted to throw a towel underneath to help soak up anything that might condense right around it. But you can't do that because there's going to be a vent underneath that it relies on pulling the fan through. So do not put this on a towel. Do not put this on the carpet because obviously you don't want to block that vent. So I like it. I just have a hard time finding a place that I can use it in my home due to wooden furniture and risk of paintings and other wooden furniture around it. Thanks for watching the review.